Yeah, I just don't get it. Like why? Like why does I don't.
This is gonna be Hans's thing throughout this whole episode. It's just like I just don't get Christopher Nolan. Who the fuck does he think he is?
No, but right. So like I have seen Memento, and it is also unnecessarily complicated bullshit. And like why does he feel the need to put it into every film he does? I really does. I don't get. Does he feel the need to convey himself as smart?
The need for speed.
But the thing is, if he did like a Need for Speed movie, it'd literally be like, oh, it's a special car that can only go at certain knots and with certain air resistance.
When it hits 88 miles an hour, it goes back in time.
But like,
oh shit, we can just speed now?
I don't know. Feel free to keep that ranted if you want, Nick. It's just, it baffles me.
It's just the end of your fucking Christopher Nolan rant.
Yeah, I just like, and I'm going to say it as well. I think he's an overrated director.
Jonathan Nolan's not much better. He wrote fucking Westworld, and it's fucking incomprehensible.
Yeah. But like, yeah, so and I know one or two of my friends who are going to fucking shoot me for saying that, but I just think, I think he's an overrated director.
I still think he makes good movies.
He makes good movies, but there are some people who claim he is like one of the best directors.
No,
I
would not agree with that. He makes very entertaining movies that, as harsh as it sounds, pretend to be smart.
Yeah, the one thing I do like about him is he doesn't rely on CGI. He uses practical effects, and I do like that about him. But that doesn't make you a good director.
It's funny because like the one movie where like it actually is smart, and it's in The Prestige, is my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, where like it is actually so well thought out and makes so much sense. The twist at the end.
Yeah,
how it actually 100% completely fits with the story.
It does, but not only that, like it's also the fact that although it's not unnecessarily complicated, it's a really simple idea. Can we talk about?
It's like a fucking 15-year-old movie.
Yeah, so like the fact that like it's really simple, like it creates a clone of you, but you don't know if you're going to be the clone or not. So all these death-defying tricks. One of them is he's either going to die or else he's like the clone is going to die, and he does not know that. But that is not complicated.
Yeah, and even,
do you know what I mean?
Like the other twist where it's like, yeah, I have a twin, and you're like, fuck, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, so it's just like those are not complicated concepts. Whereas like in Tenet, where it's like, oh, you time travel versus using this turnstile, and one's going forward and one goes back, and I can't even forget. I can't even. If I go and just try to describe the Tenet time travel mechanics to you, this audacity will explode. Right, we gotta move on. I'm just gonna.
You have a topic.
Okay, so Nick, I've been seeing you playing a certain game recently.
I've played a lot of games recently. All
right,
yes.
Specifically, Bloodstained.
Yes.
Okay, here's my hot take. I don't think it's very good.
Let's say I think it is a perfectly serviceable Metroidvania. I think it plays kind of shit.
I think it's also ugly.
I think it feels very clunky. But I think as a Metroidvania game, it is completely fine. I think it has also a certain charm to it of how dumb it is.
Yes, I will agree with that, but I don't think it's very... I could not get into it.
I'm getting more into it this... I've tried to play it before, and I feel like I'm getting more into it this time.
And like the character just won't stop moaning.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. They added a version where you can play as a dude.
Does he also moan?
You know, he's David Hayter. So you can play as Solid Snake.
Oh, wow.
I dropped off
as fuck. You were eating a Magnum?
No, my magnet, not my Magnum.
All right. I thought you would have made a bigger deal if you dropped your ice cream.
Yeah, I would be really annoyed.
No, my ice cream. No.
Yeah, I would cancel this whole recording.
No, fuck this.
Okay, right. My house question. So, I have obviously bought a house. I am in the process of buying things. Yep, I'm the most adult person in this call, despite being the youngest person in this call. I have the most debt.
He's also the most humble, apparently.
Yeah. So, as I live with... if it was up to me, this house would be painted entirely black, I'm popular with nothing but black things because I'm a big old goth boy. So I'm trying to branch out, and I'm like,
a big-titted goth boyfriend.
So I was like, oh, this is really cool, and this is really neat, and I would totally get this. And I think this would be like a nice pop of color in my living room, and give it like the nice feature color it needs to kind of dictate like cushions and things on the sofa. And our lovely mother poo-pooed this idea, and I would like to get the Bash Brew's opinion on it. So I wanted to buy this to go above my wood-burning stove. I've pasted the link into the Discord, and we'll put it on the screen.
I agree with your brother.
What? What? Why?
Wait. Over your wood-burning stove.
Yeah, so I have a wood-burning stove, but it's inset into the wall like a fireplace.
So, what color are you making the living room?
So the living room, it's like every...
Hang on. Answer me this question. What color is the background on that?
Purple.
Purple. Like deep purple as well, like Velveteen Dream purple.
Like purple.
So pedophile purple?
What?
Oh, stop.
So every all the walls in the house are painted like just a white, because I didn't get an option.
But how the house is literally just the living room. We need to know, because if this is going in the living room,
the carpet is grey, and I have bought 2 grey sofas. So I need something of color that
gray
will
on
dictate.
gray.
Yeah, so I need something of color to kind of like dictate the color of the room. So I was like, "Oh, this looks really cool. It's nice and funky." And Mum was like, "No."
So purple is your feature color.
It was going to be. It's not anymore. Now that Mum has poo-pooed that idea.
Whoa! Question. Why does your mother?
Because. It's just easier not to argue with her. You don't argue with your mom. You should know this. Yeah. Your mom scares you.
Of all the people who are questioning why not to argue with mothers, you should be 100% on board with this idea.
I've done my. I've escaped. I went.
I wouldn't even argue with your mother.
Big body of water in between us.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry, Mom. England's going through a tunnel.
Even I wouldn't argue with your mother. And if you would argue with someone else's mother, then you'd know. So, right, I'm on the fence. We need to do an on the fence about this painting.
Whoa. Okay, let's start with Nick. Why do you like this?
I think it's really cool. I like the colors. It's different. I like cows.
I knew that was going to be the reason. I was like, it's a cow.
Cows are pretty neat. So
are they?
So instead of this, my feature color in the living room is not going to be yellow. Or like a mustard,
like a picture of SpongeBob on the wall,
a darker yellow. No, I'm thinking of print of a sunflower.
Like grand yellows are pretty alright.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
it's already in this picture. It's literally there's this gray sofa with yellow pillows in this picture.
That's literally or mustard. I guess.
I don't know. They're yellow cushions.
Yeah,
they're like They're like almost like an amber.
I wouldn't say amber.
I just say mustard.
Amber than yellow.
That's
not mustard's a much deeper color
than
green.
No, but my bedroom is going to be green, Alex, or the feature color in my bedroom will be green.
Whoa, you're saying feature color a lot. Are you going to have a different color for each room?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is my plan, yes.
Do you not?
That sounds like a lot of effort.
But it's going to look really cool.
It's kind of what, like...
It's kind of what owning a house is, Alex, is a lot of effort.
Yeah. Right.
I'm going to say...
I've thought about it.
I like purple as a color.
I think I want to make the spare bedroom purple.
I don't think having a rainbow cow, though, is like the way to go. I'm gonna.
Why not buy it and put it in the spare bedroom? So yeah,
because that's a lot of money to spend on something that I'm not going to see every day.
Well, how much is
it?
But
whenever
it's 150 pounds.
You know
what
for the huge print, which is like
how much?
Which is like 5 foot.
150 quid.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money, man.
That's for like
I changed my mind. Don't buy it.
that is the huge size, which is like 5 foot wide.
Buy a smaller version and put it in your.
An A2 print is 2 foot, which is £45.
That's slightly more reasonable.
It is not like a print. It is actually like on a canvas. It is on a canvas.
Can you get like a picture or a print of like a view of something, of like a field of cows rather than a singular cow.
Field of cows.
Because I don't
you get
ever have to
several
stay in my
cows.
spare room to feel intimidated by this cow.
But why? Then surely everyone would be intimidated by the living room.
No, because that's a nice open space. Spare room's pretty small.
you run away from the car and the
Yeah,
okay, I see,
spare room's pretty small compared. Like I'd say it's about half the size.
Also, why no eyes on it?
Because
its hairs over.
Because man, uses its
that's just irresponsible.
It uses its antenna to sense you.
It's antenna. That's not what you call those, Nick.
Also, it's not a cow; it's a coo.
Yeah, it's a Scottish coo.
Scottish coo.
But can you imagine? Like you're sitting on that sofa, right, and then it's just right behind you, just in this image,
just
in this
keeps
image,
moving.
right?
It's like anytime you look at it and look away, it moves.
And every once in a while, in the distance, all you hear is. Mrrr.
I like it, and I was very sad when Mum was like,
My opinion is that you do you. It's your house, you know, but like.
If you want that ugly thing hanging in your room,
It's your decision.
Hey, I'm not the one that'll ever be staying in the spare room. That'll be probably one of you guys or at some point.
I think I was right. If it's your house, if you want to do it, I'd say you do it. It makes you happy, and that's what your house is about.
And then this is what
having your own house.
This is what you do, Nick. Right? If this is the only thing, I'm sure there's plenty, but if this is the only thing your mother has concern with, that's why you have a spare. Or you have it, or you flip it over. You flip it over with another image.
Get the double-sided.
Okay, this was the other thing she poo-pooed.
Okay.
Which, to be honest, yeah, probably rightfully so.
I swear to God. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
God damn it.
What?
Yeah.
What? Do you not think that looked really nice in the living room?
No. No, I do not.
Does it have a complimenting Godzilla one?
No, but there was a Big Ben, 5 foot tall lamp you could get. I was wondering, could you position it so it was hanging off it?
It's like it's like, what if Planet of the Apes happened and this is their Statue of Liberty?
For from the me saying this and pasting it in to when we end this preamble, I'm just gonna have a slow zoom in on this gorilla's face.
Again, you do you, Nick.
I don't know. I kind of get where she's coming from with the gorilla lamp.
I'm poo-pooing this one. Don't do you on this one.
There was also a shark
on
lamp.
the cow, sure, but not so much the gorilla. Are you just trying to get an animal farm or a Noah's Ark theme going in your house? Where
Nick,
everything is animal related.
Do you know what you should do? You should become a basic bitch and just get live, laugh, love.
I'm going to tell Mrs. D you said that because we have that in our downstairs bathroom.
Hey, man. Hey,
Firstly,
it's not a centerpiece.
Our mum is a basic bitch. It's a really good thing she doesn't listen to this shit.
I mean, as a centerpiece in the living room.
In three,
she has it over the bath. Yeah,
Tom has a 3D printer, doesn't he? Could you 3D print me it and I'll hang it or as a lampshade type thing?
It's not going to be very big.
You can do it one letter at a time. That's fine.
All right, okay.
As big as you can get, one letter at a time, and I will hang it around in a 3D fucking art installation.
Well, this is what it's like to be an adult, I suppose.
Yeah. Think of the dumb shit you can do in your house. Sorry, I've already found out where Hans can live.
Oh, actually,
the basement.
It's gonna Harry Potter him under the stairs.
Are you gonna get a cat?
I'm bringing my 2
He
cats.
has to.
I'm bringing my 2
but
cats.
you're gonna get a moving in cat.
No, I'm bringing my 2 cats.
Yeah, his 2 are fucking rock and roll already, and that much of a pain in the ass. The third one's just gonna cause mayhem.
All right, here's the question: what color is their room gonna be?
They do not have
Black.
it. They will sleep probably on my spare sofa that'll sit in the living room or in the kitchen.
Wait,
It's a big ass fucking kitchen, dude.
Also, cats sleep wherever the hell they want.
Yeah, you don't dictate where they sleep, Nick.
You'll
You'll be sleeping on the sofa.
I will be
they'll be
keeping the
sleeping on
living room
bed.
door closed if I'm not in there. So the cats will probably have the choice of sleeping on that sofa or on my bed if I'm not in the living room.
Yeah. Or do you not have a garage? No.
No.
Well, why don't you buy a catio for them?
Mom has already suggested this.
Get a catio.
No.
What's a catio?
It's a giant. It's a patio, but it's like completely enclosed.
Cats.
So it's like a. Do you know the things you would see at like kennels?
Yeah, like like a chicken coop.
Kinda,
Like that, but for
kind
cats.
of like that.
Oh, okay.
So you can like say, so I could like open my like back doors and just the cats could go outside, but they would still be in an enclosed space so they can't escape.
Oh, okay.
So it's for house cats that can't have experience with doors and stuff.
Fair.
Because there's something for everything for lonely pet owners now.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, should we get this ball rolling so we're on time to murder people?
All right. Brothers, God damn it, every time.
I really hope you keep that bit in.
Brothers and sisters, welcome to the Not So Super Bash Bros presents Game Club for August 2020. Game Club is back, the monthly video podcast review thing where we take turns picking games, go play them for the month, and come back and discuss them for your listening pleasure. This month, Alex picked Thief from Eidos Montreal, the first-person stealth game, originally released in February 2014. And as ever, I am your host, creeping in the shadows, Nick Davis. Joined by hiding in the cupboard, Hans Davis.
What about you?
Crawling on the rooftops, Alex Proudfoot.
Don't think I'd actually be able to do that.
And hanging in the brothel, IY Chung.
Hell yeah.
So, Alex.
Hello.
Why did you pick Thief?
Because I hate myself, Nick.
Yes, it's finally come out.
He's become self-aware.
The mystery has been cracked.
To be fair, I actually think this is one of the better games Alex has picked.
Shut up, man.
It's definitely one of the more playable ones. Better is a questionable term. So as ever, I have split this into three. Wait, give an actual reason. What was your reasoning before you actually played the
game? Can I remember past the
hit?
Okay, so everything I read about it said that if you hadn't played the original Thief games, you'd probably like this more than if you played the original Thief games. So I thought, having not played the original Thief games, this might be an interesting starting point. And it was interesting. And that's basically it.
Class. And as ever, I have split this into three categories.
Nick, what are them there categories?
Gameplay.
Loving it.
Story and characters.
Have it your way.
And can a standard stealth game work in modern times?
I can't think of a third fast food chain slogan.
What the fuck does standard mean?
We'll get to it.
Okay, alright.
But before we kick into it, I would like to pose the question that I always do. How far did everyone get in Thief 2014? I got to the end of chapter 3 or 4. Can't remember which. I think it was the brothel or the one after the brothel. And then decided this was it for me. Hans.
5 hours.
Do you have a chapter or anything? Do you remember what chapter it was?
No. It's 5 hours.
Alex.
I completed it, Nick, because I hate myself.
Man, Alex's descriptor for in the description for this one is just gonna be Alex hates himself.
Yeah. I love how he's done. Like it's just he just does it to himself every time he picks a game, man. Every time.
Hey, sometimes I enjoy it.
It's like self-flagellation.
1 time out of 10, I knock it out of the park. I
got to chapter 5, which I think is just over, or just like halfway.
I believe there's 9. Yeah, I believe there's 9 chapters when I looked it up.
Yeah.
Why?
What?
Why not just make a 10?
No, I think there's 8.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay, I can settle for 8.
I guess there's someone
Although 7 and 8 are technically one chapter because you don't go back to town in between.
Alright, because Hans said that, I have to ask you, Hans, what volume do you leave your volume out?
Excuse you?
Yeah. What number do you leave your volume out on your TV?
Oh, right. I thought you meant like in the game, and I was just like, what? Is that a thing? What? I was like,
Hey man,
no,
there's sliders.
Either a 5 or an even number.
I also do that.
I just leave.
It's either a divisible of 5 or an even number.
I just leave my TV on 10, and then if I need to change the volume, I do it through the program. On the radio, I don't give a crap. Like 13.
Ooh.
Why did you ask this question?
Because
I said about the even number thing.
Oh, okay.
And people are weird about their volume.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would agree with you, the two of you. Right.
Yeah.
That's
So, gameplay to start with. When I was writing my notes, like I literally said, this is pretty much the textbook definition of a stealth game. It's straight up, no bells and whistles, no. Oh, if I get caught, I can like fight my way out of this scenario. It is literally usually get caught, you run away or you die. And I knew going into it, that's not for me. In an age where games like Deus Ex and games like Dishonored exists.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, like that style of stealth game just is not for me. And I can recognize there's probably an audience for that, but it holds no appeal for me. I think it does what it does, like, competently and very well. But for me, personally, it's just holds no interest. I don't like that. Oh, if I feel my only option is to pretty much just be like, alright, fuck it. Done. Reload.
Restart.
Yeah. I'd like to get your guys' takes on, like, this is kind of what I meant. I would buy a standard stealth game where literally it is go stealth or go home. Not go big, go stealth or whip out every tool you have and murder everyone around you. I'd like to get your take on, because I feel like a lot of games have shied away from this sort of like you have to play it stealth, like games like Splinter Cell, when they like in their heyday were kind of like this, but have since kind of faded more towards the stuff like Deus Ex and Dishonored, where you do have combat options with like as a fallback if you need them, or even if that's the way you want to play the game.
See, the thing is, this game provides false combat options, I think. Because you can spec into fighting.
Mm-hmm.
But the guards are so strong, it doesn't matter.
Does the spec into fighting just kind of like stun lock them for longer if you hit them?
Kinda.
Like, yeah. I can't imagine it let you probably like suddenly be able to take down like 3 guards if they're all on top of you.
The points that you can get, it seems like a massive waste of time to spec them into the combat stuff when the stealth options are so powerful. So it feels like they did try to cater to the combat stuff, but they just kind of just half-baked it and just went, you know what, we'll put some option there. It's not viable or anything, but it's there.
It's always like the illusion of choice compared to something like a Deus Ex, where like if you do get caught, you can bust out a gun and fight your way out of a situation and kind of reset the encounter to be pseudo stealth. Like people may be on alert or something, but you will still have the opportunity to at least try and go back to a stealthy option. Feels like in this one, if you get caught, you have to either run back to like the last safe bit you were at, or just accept that you have been caught and you need to reload.
Yeah. Like, if you get caught in a situation where you're fighting more than one person, you're dead. Because you can't execute the abilities. Because you get, like, stuck in, like, a move. And they can still kill you. So, you can get stuck in an execution and still get hit. So, yeah.
I know we were all fairly big fans of at least Deus Ex Human Revolution when it came out. And it's the easy comparison to make to this, and let's say Dishonored as well falls into that category. And I'd like to hear your take about IY and Hans, because I know, especially Hans, because I know you were a very big fan of Human Revolution when we played it together. Like, what you think about the whole in-force stealth aspect.
So, like, I have never, ever been a massive fan of stealth games where you are forced to stealth. It's just something that has never appealed to me. Like, even whenever there was stealth sections in non-stealth games, I hated that. Especially, and then no stealth sections, it's one of those, like, if you're caught, game over. Not even, like, a chance to escape, just game over. I don't know what it is. It's just, like, something like that. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just a personal thing. I say, but I don't like it. I don't like the fact, like, so like when we played Hitman, and I originally like the show. That's why I was so pleasantly surprised, is because it's such a dynamic stealth. Where the minute shit goes down, there are literally so many options you can do to then counteract the fact you've been discovered. You can run away. You can fight. You can change costume. You know, I love that. I think it's maybe I just don't have the patience for this sort of game, because like I hate sitting waiting in the shadows waiting for guards to complete their path or something like that. But no, I've never enjoyed stealth games, and I sure as hell don't enjoy this one.
Any
Okay,
input?
so I think a big part of this is if you think about the theme of the game. Okay, so
Your thief.
what is the right? Yeah. Okay, so like if you think about Thief, your character. Okay, what is he?
He's a
The
thief.
thief.
He's a dude. He's a dude,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
if you think
sorry,
about Deus Ex, what are you?
Machine.
You're a fucking one-man army, right?
Can I interrupt?
All right.
So you know the first, like, the tutorial mission
Yeah.
where the chick falls into, like, the
Oh, yep,
ritual.
yep. And you get magicked.
Yep. You gain powers,
Yeah,
so he's no longer a dude.
just a dude. Yeah,
Well, what do you mean by?
he's a magic dude.
Yeah, but
Yep.
when you say powers, are you just talking about like the sight thing?
Yes, but also
Like, does he get to shoot lightning later?
no.
Okay.
That'd be
But
awesome.
He isn't considered a normal human.
Okay, but what? But do you guys don't understand what I'm saying though? Like,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
realms
yeah,
of like the world.
The android dude is going to be a lot better for fighting.
yeah. So like,
But to counteract that, Assassin's Creed then. Like, you are just a dude you are literally an assassin in Assassin's Creed.
but the difference between an assassin and a thief though is quite different, right?
But you would still have training, like you would still be expected to be able to hold your own in a fight.
Yeah, and then you can, right? And a 1v1 you can do that. But if you get mobbed, right, then that's a different story. But again, that's one point of this, right? But I think
I will counteract that by saying yes, it makes sense, but it making sense doesn't necessarily make it fun.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, headshots don't instant kill with the bow.
It's because they're blunt.
Just gonna say
He
it.
uses blunt arrows.
No, you can get shot.
broads.
Oh, can you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, broads. Yeah. I never actually used...
Bungie chastised me for expecting to be able to kill someone in feet.
But yeah, I think there is this expectation, right? Where like you see in Dishonored, which I think is a better comparison because it's
Yeah, it
So yeah,
is,
it's a bit more. It's a bit more in like the same sort of setting.
But the difference is in Dishonored, you're OP, right? Because that
Yeah.
blink skill is fucking stupid.
awesome.
And
But it's so awesome.
And the guards are dumb as bricks, right?
I
Which
mean,
they are in
dude,
all
guards
stealth
are
games,
not fucking smart in this game.
right? And so I think the idea. So the point I was trying to make was not that whether or not this is a good thing or bad thing. The point I'm trying to make is that it's like expectation
Yeah.
of in Deus Ex and Dishonored, you have the option of being very powerful. In fact, in Dishonored, I remember whenever I played, I actually got, if I tried to melee to fight, I got actually destroyed.
Yeah.
I actually found powering in that game quite difficult. But, if I just sent a swarm of rats and shit, like, easy, right? But in Thief, you're kind of limited, right? And it kind of plays along this whole thing of, I don't want to call it realism, right? Because none of this is real, right? But, and this is the
Yeah,
problem
but
I
we're in
have.
the Matrix.
Yeah, and like stuff like, like Mark of the Ninja, right? Like, you're a ninja.
Yeah.
Right, so you're like really, really powerful. You one hit stuff, but like in a game like this, you don't have that option, which I think is fine because of the game it is trying to be, but not fine in the sense that like no one here in this room, quote unquote, likes those games, right?
Like that's what I mean when I say like I recognize that this is a very competent stealth game. Like I couldn't fault it for like being a stealth game and what it does as a stealth game. I just don't think it's for me.
Yeah.
Like, probably very similar to how Alex felt about Outer Wilds. I know he wasn't there last time, but the way we chatted to Alex about it, like, it was a perfectly fine game. He just accepted it wasn't for him. I feel the same way about Thief. In the fact, like, I recognize what it's doing and what it's doing. It's doing, like, completely competently and at points I would say very well. It's just not for me. Like, I don't like this, if I fuck this up, it's the end all be all. Like, feeling in a game.
A game which I think I would love for you guys to try, maybe someday in a later game club, is what do you call you guys who made Desperados, yeah, or even just Desperados? Yeah. Do you guys know what game that is?
Grip Bear.
You're thinking of something of the Shogun, Blade of the Shogun,
something of this, yeah, right. Either way, it's like an old like Commandos-esque game.
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna look that up now. It's gonna bug me if I don't look up what that's called.
The funny thing about that game is that at the very beginning of the game, it says, "This button is the autosave button. You will use this a lot."
Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun.
Okay. And that is a quote-unquote stealth game.
Yeah.
Where if you get spotted, you have options, quote-unquote, but not really.
Yeah.
And like the game very bluntly says at the start, you are going to use this autosave key.
Yeah. Like it is that it's almost in Thief like this false sense of an option where
I wish they just would have said you cannot fight.
Yeah, it would be far better if the game was just like, it's the fact that you feel so much better off if you just reset an encounter rather than trying to get out of being caught. And I think that's kind of why I think this is what makes me feel this way about a lot of all stealth games or all straight up stealth games is I feel better off just reloading a save than actually reacting to what's happened in the game, because the reaction options they give me in the game aren't satisfying.
I feel like they had options for disengaging stuff. Mm-hmm. Like they had the flashbang essentially, and you could like confuse people, blind people, choke people out. Like there's so many disengage options. Why even have like the points for the melee option? Heavily push people towards, listen, you're not a fighter. You do not want to fight people. Do not give people that idea that they can like run in and start swinging whatever, like that blackjack or whatever he was using.
Well, like, I don't think it tries to do that though. Because it only tells you... Because if you think about it, anytime you got into an encounter, it tells you how to dodge, right? Mm-hmm. So it doesn't actually tell you at the very beginning of the game, oh yeah, this is something you will need to know later. It only tells you that, like, if shit has hit the fan.
Yeah.
So I don't think it tries to, like, pretend to be anything. I think it's more that, like, this is a situation that can happen in the game, and thus we need to give you an option. And it's just that the options maybe are bad, right?
But then do you think that maybe that should just be a proper old-fashioned stealth game, or like almost like you get caught, game over? Do you think maybe it needs to be that way so that there is no confusion of maybe I could fight my way out of this?
Because there are some situations where you can just run away, right? Just run around the corner.
But it's not even that. It's running away is fine. It's the fact that I feel more inclined to restart the whole encounter and reset all the AI, because getting caught obviously throws everything out of whack for all the AI routines and things like that. When stealth games are so reliant on watching AI, seeing what they're doing, and then when that all goes wrong and suddenly AIs become out of sync and things like that, sometimes you feel like you've put yourself in an impossible position. I think that's where I don't mind getting caught and the option being there to run away. I think that's a perfectly fine thing in a stealth game. It's the fact that I don't feel like sometimes it feels like I then put myself in an unrecoverable position. That I'd be better off just, alright, I just want to restart this whole encounter, reset all the enemies.
Yeah, like the maps don't lend themselves, or not the maps per se, but like in Assassin's Creed, right? If you get spotted, you just fucking run up a wall, and
yeah,
it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, you can book it very far, very quickly in Assassin's Creed if need be.
Yeah,
or say then, as we said, like say in Dishonored, if you get caught, you have the option to just clear out that room, and then the fucking next room over won't be in a triggered state.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's
noise in this is massive.
But you know what else is massive in this game? Shadows.
Yeah.
Hilariously so. That you can be in a shadow and a dude will be standing 3 foot in front of you and not see you.
And not see, yeah.
It is
you
hilarious.
You can basically be right in front of someone and they not see you.
It is amazing.
I find though, like, so I watched, I keep bringing it up, I think, on each of these, like, Game Maker's Toolkit, their series.
Yeah.
And they did a stealth one. And this idea of, like, the problem is, if a stealth game was realistic, you would not want to play it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
100%.
So one thing is...
Like, it's why people make a joke about when, say, in fucking Skyrim, if you ping an arrow and miss a guy who goes, it must have been the wind.
Yeah.
It's why that's a running meme, because as ridiculous as it is, leaps in logic like that makes stealth enjoyable in video games.
Plus, there's a certain charm to something like that. Like, something doesn't become a meme if it's not kind of like, haha, yeah.
But do you know what else is overpowered in this game?
Water
Whatever those
arrows.
bloody humanoid creatures are later on.
See, I think I had just seen one of those, but never actually encountered one yet.
They are so broken. Like, if you make any noise, they are on you. Like, if you stand on, like, a corner of a patch of broken glass, they're straight there.
So here's a question, because I got to the point where I feel like the game was getting very samey, right? Which is why I stopped. Because although I didn't dislike the game, it was just like, well, I feel like if I keep playing this, I'm not getting anything else out of this.
Yeah.
But obviously the game hinted, as Nick saw even earlier, was that there is some kind of supernatural monster-y aspect to this.
Yeah.
Do they... Is there any kind of gimmick to them? Or like...
Is there a gimmick
Or they
to
get
them,
different
or
skin?
are they just superhumans? Like, are they just, we are humans with greater sense of, like, heightened
So-
senses?
The story behind them is the ritual at the start was tapping into the primal. And the primal is like this overwhelming force that gives people like insane abilities. So the monsters have been corrupted by the primal. So they are essentially superhuman.
But outside of how they happen, like, are they...
Like
do they
gameplay-wise?
cause a meaningful difference to the gameplay when they are introduced? Other than, I need to be extra stealthy?
You just need to be extra stealthy. That's pretty much it. They... Honestly, I feel like they serve no purpose. Because they are... Once again, they're done to death. Because you can't just have normal people walking about. You have to have these superhumans walking about. Then you have to have people turning into them in a level as well. It's just like... I don't understand why it had to go supernatural. Do we have a section on the story?
Yeah, story and characters.
Okay.
Dude, the first 2 seconds are always gameplay, and then story and characters.
So, we'll get into the story and that, but like...
Is there any last gameplay things? As I said, I think the gameplay is completely fine. It is just, a lot of it is down to personal taste. And I just personally didn't like how they executed the stealth stuff.
The other side of that is, how did you find the quote-unquote parkour?
I actually kind of liked how they handled, like... I appreciated that it was very difficult to, like, accidentally walk off a ledge and be like, oh shit, I've accidentally fallen into, like, a bunch of people. Like,
And died.
you had to make, like, a very distinct effort to jump down, and, like, I appreciate that in a game where it is you need to be very conscious about where you're going.
It's very hard to tell what ledges you can jump to, though. If you are up a story and you think, I can make the jump over to that balcony, you can't. Yeah. Even if they're reasonably close, he cannot jump, and you will fall to your death.
Yeah, like it was kind of weird. Like, to me, I find it somehow both clunky but also sometimes a bit handholdy. There's kind of like a weird balance to that, and somehow I'm just like, but that was not offensively bad, I suppose.
I am about the walking off the edge thing. One thing which I really liked was if you ever walk to the edge and hold forward, I think it is, your character will actually look down.
Yeah, you never jump, you never fell off a ledge unless you actually hit the jump button.
Yeah, which is actually kind of nice.
Or if you were sprinting, I think as well, it kind of overrode it. But if you just walked up to a ledge and like looked over it, your guy would just peek down.
Yeah, which I think is really cool. Like, it's just like an immersion kind of thing. I actually think that's really cool.
It nailed it. I think it did very well with the traversal stuff. Like, bar one or two instances, I think. But I just think the general movement was very well done and made the stealth very, like, nice to do in a lot of scenarios.
Yeah, it was really
the swoop. It was very nice.
Because at one point, I was like, at the very start of the game, where it's like, okay, you have to hold left trigger to like do actions essentially, and I was like, damn, this is so weird. And then it hit me, it's like, wait, this is exactly what you did in Assassin's Creed. This is exactly. I was like, wait a second.
An older Assassin's Creed.
You have a loud button essentially in Assassin's Creed.
That's pretty much it.
But like, I thought
I miss old Assassin's Creed.
So one thing I would say is I actually really loved the city. I thought I actually think aesthetically. Okay, wait, sorry. Because this doesn't really fall into any of the categories, really, like aesthetics, right?
I was gonna say I like, in not even terms of aesthetic, I actually really like the design in this, like the level design. Like, I think as much as the stealth bits of it I don't like, I actually really like how the open world city is designed and how
the world,
and how the levels themselves, like in like say the brothel and when you're going through the factory and things like that. I think those are all very well designed. It's then when they it's just then when they put the enemies in it, they're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
The slow burn of the your actions having consequences in the world is pretty cool. Because the first few missions, you go to your fence and you help him, and then he gets taken, and then you go to your client and then you help him, and then when you help him, his faction starts to take over the city. And it's later revealed that he's actually the mastermind who's trying to bring the primal back and destroy everything.
So it is Dishonored.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which came out this also came out a year after Dishonored. I feel like is nice to point out.
Did it? Oh.
Yeah, Dishonored came out before this game.
It's a pretty cool the city slowly evolves into chaos.
Yeah,
as you complete more and more missions. Mm-hmm. So I think it's halfway through the game. Every time you come out of the clock tower, someone is being hanged.
That is actually really cool. So that's actually something which I think I mentioned this again before as well. It's just I think games where you have a hub world, quote unquote, need to have some form of progression or satisfaction, right? And I'm gonna keep saying it. Digimon World 1. You see your city growing, and you see all those little digital monsters.
The best stealth game, Digimon World. Wait, what?
But that idea of having a hub that grows as you play the game, and that's very much a blocks kind of thing. But in terms of
the
evolving story,
that's really cool. That's how grows. But if it has to change, if it goes with the story, because Deus Ex, there's the second one, man, kind of
does it. It just doesn't do it in a fun way.
Yeah, well, that's true. But the fact that it goes with the story, there's lockdown and there's more of a police presence, and then there becomes a point where it's not fun at all because you're a fugitive, and therefore you have a wanted level throughout the entirety. But that does evolve, and how as the riots grow more and more intense and stuff, and you're right. It's that makes seeing the world evolve that makes it so much more enjoyable. Because you're kind of ooh, what's going to happen next?
In the later levels, the guards completely disappear off the streets, and it's the faction roaming, and buildings are on fire. There's less civilians about. It's it's a really cool evolution of the hub. It's just a shame that the story's crap.
Oh, sorry. There is one thing I want to say about that's really bad, right? I'm guessing it's a hidden load string. Opening
the
windows.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
Yes.
Even though the things that they open into are tiny.
Yeah, it's
like
usually
2 rooms,
houses. Yeah,
right? If even.
That's what makes me think it's not a load screen. Like maybe coming out it is.
Some of them are load screens.
Some of them are very obvious because they actually go into a load thing. So one instance I had, which I thought, I'm going to mention this on the thing, is so I opened a window. Okay, through the window, I see it's like in shadow, right? In the room, it's lit up, and then I go back outside. And it's like the opposite. And it's just like, wait a second. It's really ruining my immersion here. But yeah, those things are really dumb. Like, really dumb. And
I think a lot of in this game, I think a lot of those mini games are they're just time wasting more than anything.
Okay, and
they're not a challenge.
Before we move on, the tools, how they are implemented is so stupid.
What do you mean the tools?
So you can buy tools to help you in levels.
I know. I saw when I was playing. Like it was like, oh, you don't have the wrench to open this vent or something like that. Yes.
So there's the wrench to open vents, and then there's like wire cutters.
Yeah.
Essentially, and then there's one to steal paintings. I thought, paintings could get me a lot of money. Baited, they're collectibles.
Yeah, of course.
All of them.
Of course they are.
All of them are collectibles. They don't give you.
Surely all you need to steal a painting is a knife.
That's basically what you buy.
What?
Hey man, he doesn't have a knife. He only has a blackjack.
Use your arrowheads.
You buy like a razor blade thing to like cut the painting out of the frame.
Okay, so
also the collectibles in this game. Is he stealing like plaques
for his collection?
Yeah,
put it in his clock tower.
Why?
Hey man, he's a thief. It's in the title, man.
But of all it's in the title of the game. A brass plaque, really?
Yeah, you never know when dude, I have a lot of shit that might have value one day.
Have you?
I didn't steal it, but I have a lot of shit. I hoard a lot of shit.
Yeah, you didn't steal it. Wink, wink.
Alex. Do you not see the gorilla clock? Or like,
if someone was walking around my house and they'd take that, I was like, I don't want to sell this. This thing's awesome.
If I ever make a game, I'm making that a collectible where you have to steal a gorilla clock.
But okay, so that's one thing I don't like. It is the thieving part of it. Is that I think so? This is I thought it was the game, but now I'm thinking about it. I don't like looting in first person. So you see in a game like Fallout or something. The idea of having to go through every nook and cranny because you might miss something, I hate that kind of feeling.
I get that, but I also feel like that is very much a personal thing. Like, I don't feel the need, especially in this, I didn't, after like the first level, I think I didn't feel the need to like fucking search for every bit of fucking loot to steal. And I know I have grown out of that habit in games like Skyrim and Fallout. Where I don't feel the need to search every corner in case, you never know when I might find a fucking sick-ass sword hidden away in a box.
God
yeah, help. Because you usually know by that point.
You usually know I'm not going to find a sick-ass sword.
Anything that's going to be good or powerful is going to be on a big-ass enemy that I just slaughtered, or else in this really highlighted chest.
Like I would say that was one of the things I noticed about this game, is just a lot of the things that like you were doing, like whether it be the lockpicking, the fucking safe cracking, picking or like opening up shit to find things to steal, a lot of it just felt like busy work to pad the game out.
It's padding,
None of it felt like all that meaningful in the grand scheme of it.
The only things I ever used the money on were the tools. So every time I picked something up, it was because I was on the way through. Like, I didn't go out of my way because I feel like if you're the kind of person who has to collect everything, this turns from a stealth game into a drawer opening simulator because there are so many drawers and cupboards to open, and you have to open them to find out if there's stuff in them.
And it feel like this is where I feel like the comparison to something like a Dishonored or again Deus Ex comes in, where like I can spend all that time hacking in Deus Ex or like learning new abilities in Dishonored because they open up new paths for me to follow. And yes, the money and stuff helps, but it never feels like you're getting that meaningful a change. Like learning how to hack things in Deus Ex or having a certain ability gives you can let you skip whole fucking levels or whole combat sections or like completely cheese a boss fight. And it never feels like Thief goes that far in that direction. Like it never feels like me having a certain ability will let me skip a whole level.
I think the whole idea is you get the money to then buy the upgrades from that woman you're introduced to. But let me tell you, I never went back there.
I never found her again. I had a lot of money. I was like, where the fuck is this woman to buy shit off? I was like, never find her in that open world.
Because, like, the upgrades felt pretty useless. Like, there's one... They're only activatable when you have the vision on. So, like, you only move quieter when you have the vision on. Which seems really stupid. Like, surely just muffling your footsteps more.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I don't like is the vision thing, the detective vision, is limited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does, or rather, it doesn't recharge. Like, it does in every other game, if there is one.
Yeah, you need to use poppies.
Yeah, which is really weird.
Get high as fuck.
Yeah.
Yep. Did murder that brothel, though. With poppies, basically.
Is there any final game else for it? I'm conscious of time. Just
Nah, it's
okay. Compliment. It is
like,
completely compliment.
The stealth is solid. Mm-hmm. I feel like pretty much everything else lets it down.
So, story and characters. I don't have a lot of points here. I didn't obviously get very far in the game, but I do feel like Garrett falls into the same sort of archetype that I felt like a lot of early 2010 protagonists fell into, and that was, I'm going to be really dark and really edgy with no real reason.
But here's the thing, he starts off the game by saying, I don't kill people.
Yeah. Which is, it's just him like being really... like, oh, I'm so against the grain of what this other chick is doing. I don't kill people.
Yeah.
Dab.
Hey man, I didn't kill anyone.
Gives you the... I murdered.
One or two people definitely accidentally died after I did something to them or like dropped something on them. It's like it's the way Batman definitely doesn't kill people in fucking. It's like it's not me killing them if their family has to take them off life support.
You have the option to completely overdose everyone in the brothel.
Yeah.
And that was all my kills in the entire game.
But yeah, I just felt like every characterization in this game was just...
He was so dull.
Yeah, it was just dull. I thought the setup for the story is not that interesting, because they don't really give you a reason to care about that chick that he's supposedly looking for.
Oh, you find her. And let me tell you, it's very underwhelming. Also, boss fight.
She's a boss fight?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
There's multiple boss fights in this game.
Why? How? I don't even want to know. I don't even want to.
Do you know the guy?
Alex. I don't even want to know.
The thief taker or whatever he's called.
Yeah.
Like, the general guy. He's a boss fight, but you can skip him. I don't know how you would skip him because you have to like pick 3 locks in front of him to skip him.
Wait, is that not the one in front of the safe? Or is that a different fight?
No.
Right, so later on?
This is where you have to either run away or kill him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the only way to run away is to, like, pick 3 locks and escape the room. But he's, like, super AI, where he will automatically lock onto you and one-shot you.
Well, man, he's like the thief hunter dude, right? Like,
yeah, that is true. Like, he also has... He also shoots explosive bolts that instantly kill.
Nice. I like his little like wrist crossbow thing. I like
that's pretty sick.
And
then
go on.
The last boss fight is the woman who you're looking for, who's fragmented, and you have to like pick up the pieces of the primal, but they're all scattered throughout the room, so it's like a stealth mission. You have to hide from her, and if you get seen by her, you get killed.
So I'd never played the original Thieves.
Thief?
Yeah, say Thieves.
Yeah, there's 3
yeah. So, the introduction of supernatural elements, I believe, is something that is not in the previous ones.
Bungie says it was. So whenever I told Bungie, I was like, oh, I'm playing this. And then I mentioned, like, there's, like... Because he said, he played, like, a really old one, and then...
He played, like, the first one, like, Dark Shadows or something.
Yeah, and then he told me, there is actually supernatural elements to it.
Is there? Right, okay.
But like, it's not even, like, I just wasn't supernatural elements. I just feel like the whole story and that the initial setup for this whole story just feels so flat because none of the characters are interesting. Like, you're meant to be like, Garrett's like, I feel like I've let her down. I didn't save her. I need to go find her. She's obviously still alive. I was like, who gives a shit? This woman was a dick.
Yeah.
Why do you care?
So I don't mind. I actually don't mind that part.
Brood over someone else.
Like I don't mind that part because at the start of the game, the tutorial is you like trying to chase after her, right? Well, she gets the OP claw and just
and then you take the claw
off
off her and she dies.
Yeah, right. But like I don't mind that because it kind of shows almost like a mentor kind of relationship kind of thing. And I actually don't mind like her death or whatever. But the thing I don't like, and now that I'm thinking about it, it reminds me of our Black Flag podcast where, and this is what I've always said to like Nick and Alex or one of you, is that I like it whenever games are like quite grounded and then they add fucking magic, right?
Yeah.
And then like it's like in an anime, right? Where you've just got you've got like like the school bit and there's like the tournament arc and then boom, the world's gonna end if these teenagers don't right? Like
I feel like if the story had been she fell but survived and was held captive and was being prepared for the ritual, but like the ritual never happens because you stop it, so there's no supernatural thing. It would have been more interesting because there's something to aim for. Because with the supernatural, you have no idea where it's going to go. But with a tangible target of you are building up allies and resources so you can go rescue this chick who you failed in the tutorial.
Who he's also only assuming is alive.
Yes. And it's very much hinted that she's dead until she's not. Because she like sends visions to you and it's like, is she sending these visions?
Or am I just going crazy? Have I been smoking too many poppies? Oh.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just
but that would have been an interesting way to go then, like
drug abuse?
Character study. No, like a character study of Garrett, where like he is so hell bent and so convinced he is alive or she is alive and is going to save her, but maybe he's been driven mad with grief.
Yeah. Is he
like that would have been a really
insane?
good character study then. Like so, like and then you get to the point. So you as a player are always constantly guessing, right? Like, is he a reliable narrative or narrator? And then a big reveal at the end of yes, she is alive, or no, she isn't.
It would also make the superhumanoid things even more interesting because you wouldn't know if they
are real or not.
Yeah.
And like it also like the fact like it said takes such a sharp turn into the supernatural. You then start to question all the supernatural elements of like maybe he's just gone mad because he saw this person that he considered a daughter or her mentee, whatever, die in front of him. Do you know, that would have been such a more interesting way to take this.
It's also like really weird how one of the main guys you're sent to steal off explains the whole supernatural thing to you.
Almost like a Christopher Nolan movie.
What? So is it Michael Caine? Is that what you're saying?
It is Michael Caine, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Or the American version of Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, I honestly don't have a lot to say about the story characters. Like, it all just seems so meh.
That's pretty much it.
Fantastic.
I've got one thing to say, right? Sorry. The character models look hideous. I think the world looks alright, but like Garrett's face? Oh my god. Wait.
I hate how he wears that
That's
fucking...
why it's first person.
It's like, I hate how he wears the fucking cowl. And then he doesn't like pull it down, he just pulls it onto his chin. And it just looks like he has fucking no neck half the time. He's just like he's got his fucking chin pressed into his chest. Like, man, I'm good. I'm here to steal your stuff.
The coolest character is still like the thief taker or whatever he's called. It's a real shame he's like pretty useless.
I mean, let's be honest, all the guards in that game seem pretty useless. It would make sense that the guy running them is also pretty useless.
It's true.
The fact that I can walk 2 foot in front of a guard as long as I'm in shadow and he doesn't see me.
Yeah.
So, the final section. As I mentioned, I want to know, do you guys think a standard stealth game, kind of like this can work these days? Because to me, the closest comparison is something like Hitman. Like, Hitman, as much as, yes, it does have options, it is very much, there are completely unwinnable situations in Hitman, and that's fine, I think. But where I get my enjoyment in Hitman is, A, the sheer ridiculousness of it, sometimes of, like, walking around as dressed as a fucking clown, winging briefcases at people. And 2, the very structured nature of some of the like the opportunity stuff in Hitman, where it's like, oh, you get pointed in directions like, oh, go dress up as Helmut Kruger, do the cat show, and that'll get you like the opportunity you need to do what you need to do. And like that's where I get my enjoyment from that pure stealth experience, is when it's very structured and almost, as much as games praise themselves and we give the player agency and let them do what they do, in a stealth game I almost don't want that. And I'm wondering, do you guys feel the same way? Do you see a world where you can enjoy a traditional stealth game like a Thief without a lot of added caveats?
No. Like, to me, I feel like a pure stealth game is quite niche now, to the point of like the same way that a horror game, although maybe they are a bit more mainstream now, but like the same way a horror game was about a decade ago. They are very niche and they have their target audience and they will probably buy them and be very faithful to them. But I do not feel that stealth games, pure stealth games as a whole, are appealing to a major audience, and therefore probably are just very slowly either... They might make a resurgence, because sometimes these genres make a resurgence, but I feel like they're just going to continue to be niche for a long time until done properly.
How about you, Alex? Do you have any input?
I think like I said earlier, I think like in a stealth game, you need to be overpowered. For the most part, in order to sort of, because the thing about stealth game, right, is that the appealing thing of a stealth game is that is like, haha, I know something that you don't, right? It's that kind of information. But in a game like this, like a first person game especially, like you can't see shit, like you don't know shit. Like you have very few options because you have very few options, right? That's just how it is.
Yeah. So
I think it's all about those kind of mechanics to make things interesting. But if the question is like, should there be a game, or do games where there's essentially hard fails exist? I feel like whenever every video game announcement you hear is like, oh, play it your way, right? Like, I feel we're at that age where people say what they want is, I want options. But as Nick pointed out in like Hitman, and I would completely agree, the coolest part in that game is like the scripted scenes, right?
Yeah, the highly structured. I can be a catwalk model and this ridiculous scenario plays out. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like that's actually the coolest bit. And the reason why
Hitman, I also feel like does have a lot of those cool moments that are very off the cuff. Like it's not, I wouldn't say it's structurally like my enjoyment of them comes off it, but I also see people sharing clips and GIFs online of people like where these ridiculous things have played out, where they've kicked a fucking body through a hole with a bomb attached to it and it's wiped out a whole room. Like that, and it wasn't scripted or anything, it was just sheer happenstance because of the way the systems interacted.
Yeah, but something like that is kind of like dumb and silly, right?
Yeah.
It's not. It's obviously the developer's intentions, but it's not the quote unquote intended way to play, quote, right? And I think one of those things is that, like in stealth games, like all the enemies in the game have to either stand still and wait, or they're on like a patrol path, right? And in those situations, like you have to sit there and wait for stuff to happen. But if you have like a scripted like point of interest, then that bit always stays there for you, right? But I don't know. I think an answer to the question is like, nah, I don't think these games make sense in this current day and age.
Especially with like, it's weird when you think back, like it does feel like there was a time where these were the big thing. Like there was probably a time where Splinter Cell was one of the biggest like franchises going, and it was very much a stealth game.
Games are harder back then, man. You know, that's
Very true.
And actually, to Hans's point about like horror games, I think horror games are still popular, but I think survival horror is less so. And what I mean by that is, I think in a lot of horror games, you are actually powerless, right? Like usually you have like a torch or something, right?
Yeah.
And you can't actually interact with the monsters. per se.
It's usually run away.
Yeah, or that's kind of it. But back in the day, stuff like Silent Hill and Resident Evil, like the old ones, like you had like ammo and stuff, right? You had like really shitty inventory spaces that you had to manage, right? But nowadays it's kind of like jump scares, right? That's like the focus of those kind of games. I think that's like the evolution of that kind of horror, which again, kind of seems like they're just making stuff easier, right? In the same way, these games, I feel like were once one thing, but now you've got like all these different branching paths of like, your Assassin's Creeds, your Dishonored's, your, what do you call that ninja game?
Mark of the Ninja.
Mark of the Ninja. Yeah, that one. Right? Stuff like that.
Would I play a stealth game like this? I feel like if they nailed the story and the tone of the game, and they made like a feasible reason why it's a stealth game, and I feel like if
hey man, it's called Thief.
If it was
It's the title.
if they had like if you get caught, it's failed basically. I feel like that system would be better than like the option for combat. But I think the time has come and gone for pure stealth. Like Dishonored, it feels like ushered in the era of,
Options.
combat stealth. Yeah.
Really? Dishonored? I would have said more Assassin's Creed kind of went that direction.
No, well, like first person.
Oh, no, that's fair enough in first person. We'll give you that, yeah.
It is a big difference, like being first person, third person in these kind of games. Like shooting a dude doesn't really make a difference, right? Like over the shoulder, first person doesn't really make a difference. But like limiting your view for stealth, like it's a big thing.
I wouldn't even say just for stealth games. I feel like there are certain games that feel very different in first or third person. Like playing PUBG or something like that is very different in first or third person.
Yeah, you just cheat and hide behind the wall in the third person. That's what I did.
But that's the thing, like, it's the whole point of the first and third is to give you that, like, how much agency do you want to give the player, like to be able to predict an attack from behind, like, like in Dishonored, it kind of makes you not want to go for combat because you never know who's coming from behind you, where in Assassin's Creed you can see if someone's coming at you from behind, so makes you maybe slightly more enticed to go for combat.
Any final thoughts before we begin to wrap this up?
No.
Nope. So overall, I don't think it's necessarily a bad game. I think it is a niche game. I think it is a competently made game. But overall, I just can't get into Thief. Like, stealth games like this are just not for me these days, and there's probably an audience out there for them, but it's not me. I can recognize that this is a very well-made game, and it's obviously the people making it enjoyed making a stealth game and knew what they were doing when it came to making a stealth game. It just doesn't tickle my fancy. Hans?
I'm probably a bit more of a negative. I don't necessarily think it is particularly well made. I think it's all rightly made, averagely made. I think it's meh. Like, I think the graphics aren't great. I think although the level design and the world design's cool, it's nothing spectacular. The stealth mechanics are weird because, like you said, as long as I'm in the shadow, I'm pretty sweet. So I think it's kind of weird that way, but the big thing is, do you like stealth games? And the answer for me is just no, I don't like stealth games, and I really don't like this type of stealth game. So it's a thumbs down from me.
Alex?
I think the stealth in it is solid. It's nothing spectacular. It's alright. The story is crap. And it's just like the levels get very samey. It's just so really. Like, I think it's a well-made game, but there's just nothing that grabs you in it. Like, it's all, everything is kind of just there. So, yeah.
Oh, why?
It's alright. Like, it's weird because it's one of those games where, like, it's definitely not bad. Right? We've played bad games. It's definitely not bad.
We've played a lot of bad games.
But it's not a game I'm going to recommend, right? Especially, like, in this day and age, and, like, even my brother, right? Who, I actually specifically remember watching him play, like, the original Thief. I remember him shooting those, like, derpy little water arrows, right, back in the day. But even then, like, I don't think I would recommend this to him. It's so, as Hans elegantly put it, meh, you know? And yeah, and as Nick brought up, I think these kind of games, there needs to be almost like a big overhaul of how we as if we're doing anything, right? As like how like we sort of do stealth games moving forward.
Funny you mentioned that. Look out for the Bash Bros video game coming out holiday 2020.
It's a stealth game.
It's a stealth dating.
That's creepy.
That sounds. You made that sound so rapey without specifically saying the word rape. I didn't rape her. I stealth dated her. Jesus. So yes, overall disappointing experience with Thief. Much like an actual thief, you will be left disappointed. See what I did there?
I stole our time.
No, I didn't.
Alex did it far better than I did. But before we wrap it up, we have one piece of business to attend to. Hans, what game will we be playing in September's edition of Game Club?
Oh, it's my turn. Open up Steam. So for September, we will be playing Telling Lies, which is
free on game. No, that's the other game. It's the other game.
Which is made by the same people who did Her Story, which I played a good couple of years ago, and I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, Telling Lies is the game I have picked.
Sweet.
Look at those mixed reviews.
Love to see it.
Is this an FMV game?
Yes.
Yes.
Have you branched into my territory?
No, it's a good game.
Oh, snap.
Hey, man, Contradiction was amazing. Late Shift was amazing.
No, Late Shift
was
decide
alright.
that was not the general consensus.
Hans, you weren't here for the Late Shift episode.
That's true.
Yeah, but I still played it.
Late Shift was alright.
Contradiction was amazing.
Contradiction was also alright.
No, it was.
If you hadn't experienced it all before in another medium, it was alright.
It was just, for all the wrong reasons, it was indeed amazing. It was a spectacle, I'll give it that.
One for the history books. So yes.
The guy spilling his drink all over himself because he's acting angrily.
So yes, join us at the end of September where we'll be playing Telling Lies. But for now, it's goodbye from Hans.
Have a good one.
Goodbye from Alex.
Bye.
Goodbye from IY.
Don't steal or lie.
And a goodbye from myself. Toodaloo.